Good day, class. In this lesson, we will explore the ambiguous case of the law of sines. Specifically, we will understand when to apply the law of sines as well as how to effectively apply it. Take a look at this triangle. We may be asked to solve a triangle. If ever that happens, we certainly want to label our triangle. Notice how I'll label this triangle, side A, angle A, and side A, which are opposite one another. Angle B and side B must be opposite one another, and angle C and side C must be opposite one another. However, please note that your angles and side measures can be on any of the three vertices and their opposite side measures. Keep in mind, you want to be flexible to allow these angle measures and their corresponding side measures to be anywhere on the triangle as long as it is relevant to whatever problem you are trying to solve. Notice here, I've started with the B measures, both angle and its corresponding side, and then I placed the C measures the angle and its corresponding side, and the A measures the angle and its corresponding side in different locations. So this is always fair game depending on the information you've been given. Now, here are two possible examples. Here we're given on the left-hand side A equals 5, B equals 2, and capital A equals 50 degrees. So we've been given two side measures and one angle measure. Notice how the angle measures and the side measures correspond. When that happens, we'll use the law of sines. However, notice on the right-hand side, we've been given only side measures. There are no corresponding angle measures to those side measures. This is an example where the law of sines, as we see here, A equals A, or side A divided by sine of angle A equals side B divided by sine of angle B, and so on. That proportion doesn't work if you only have side measures. So in such cases, we will use the law of cosines. Depending on the information we've been given, we will apply one of these three relevant laws. So it's up to you when you are exploring or trying to solve triangles to determine, based on the information you've given, which information can be supported by the laws as you see. One hard and fast rule could be when you have corresponding angle and side measures, then, or an angle measure and its corresponding side measures, then the law of sines will work for you. If you do not have that correspondence, the law of sines will probably not be the first place you want to begin. Now that we've determined we're using the law of sines because we recognize we have corresponding side angle measures, we now need to determine, do we actually have a triangle based on the parameters given? I'm going to demonstrate for you how on the far left-hand side, those measures actually do not constitute a triangle. In the middle, I'm going to demonstrate for you how the measures happen to constitute a triangle. However, it only constitutes one triangle. The reason is, notice how the side measure opposite the given angle measure has a larger measure. That measure of 5 units is larger than the other side measure. When the side measure opposite the given angle measure is larger than the other side measure, we only have one possible triangle. Notice how to the far right-hand side of our screen, when we determine we are using the law of sines, we see that the side measure, 14 units, that is opposite the given angle measure is smaller than the other side measure. When that happens, two triangles are possible. Now, let's take a look. We're going to measure the height of each of these. We'll do that by using the definition of the sine of an angle. So the sine of angle A in this case, because we're given that angle, it could have been some other angle measure, but we've been given angle A, is 50 degrees in measure. So we are going to assign that to our law that governs, or the definition of the sine of an angle. Sine equals opposite over hypotenuse. In this case, the opposite measure is the height that we're looking for. We're going to back that out and discover that the height is 21 units. That's too tall. There's no way. If this height is 21 units in length, that 18 unit measure cannot hit the floor. We have no triangle here. Notice how in the second section, the middle section, When we apply the law of sines, when we apply the definition of the sine of an angle, we discover the height is 2 units, which is short enough such that that 5 can actually touch the floor. Now we're going to see that since we have one triangle, now we're going to see having 2 triangles, how as long as the height checks out, and it does when we apply the definition of the sine of an angle, we discover 13 units is short enough such that that triangle will close. So in the third example, we discover that we actually have 2 triangles, we do have triangles, and we actually have 2. In the end, you discover, again, for the far left, no triangle, and in the middle and on the right, we have triangles. In the middle, 1 triangle, on the far right, 2 triangles. Be sure to pause this video here and just take a look at some of the detail.